Hey everyone. So the Pokemon Presents was finally announced. I know it was leaked a while ago. I wasn't sure if it was a leak or a rumor, but I'm glad to know it was a leak. Cool that we're gonna get some Pokemon news. I'm both excited and nervous because I feel like they might just talk about mobile games for the whole 35 minutes, which is longer than any other Pokemon Presents we've gotten, I've been told. But I'm also equally hopeful that we might get some news on some really cool games. So I just wanted to take some time to talk about what I think will be in this Pokemon Presents, if it's a better one or a worse one, as well as what I personally hope to see. So I hope you enjoy this video about my thoughts on the upcoming Pokemon Presents. So let's start off with some predictions that I think are very likely to happen. So I think one of the big things, obviously, that they're going to talk about is the Scarlet and Violet DLC. I feel like they're going to end up talking about this a little too long. I don't know if I'm personally too excited about the DLC. I'm just kind of a little bit over Scarlet and Violet myself, so that's partially me just not really being that interested in hearing more about it. But I feel like they might talk about it a little too much. Maybe we'll get some cool news that might kind of sway me into wanting to get the DLC, but I just honestly don't see that happening. But we will see, and of course for Scarlet and Violet fans, this is going to be amazing because you will all get to see some news on that DLC. So next prediction that I'm very sure is going to happen, they're definitely going to talk about Detective Pikachu Returns. It's a little strange to me that we didn't just hear the announcement here, especially since it's not that farther from the Nintendo Direct that initially announced it. Maybe this is a bit of a hope mixed in with a prediction, but maybe they will say, hey, we're going to release Detective Pikachu 1, as Detective Pikachu is a very narrative-driven series. So I just, myself personally, maybe some others too, unless you're interested in just going to play the second game, I don't see myself playing the second game until I played the first one, so I at least kind of get the story, get to know the characters, see the differences. So yeah, definitely are going to talk about Detective Pikachu 2. I don't know if they're going to announce the first one, but it would be pretty cool if they did. Prediction 3, and I know I'm talking a lot about stuff that we already know, but even though this is a long Pokemon Presents, they're definitely going to talk about stuff that we already know about. They're for sure going to talk about Pokemon Sleep in some form. I'm going to just group in all the mobile games here, but I feel like the main focus is going to be Pokemon Masters, GX, I believe it's called, and Pokemon Sleep. They might say some stuff about Pokemon Go. I know there's been rumors, as you also see in the thumbnail, about a Mewtwo raid or something coming out. So probably going to talk about that, considering all the glitchy stuff. The glitchy stuff might also be a Detective Pikachu movie sequel, but I don't think they would announce that in the Pokemon Presents. I think that's more of a worldwide thing because that's outside of the gaming audience. But yeah, anyways, back to mobile things. They're definitely going to be talking about, hey, who's been playing Pokemon Sleep? Because they announced it in the last Pokemon Presents, and now that it's been officially released, a lot of people have been playing it, so they're probably going to just give a little bit more info on it, tell people it's out if they haven't played it yet, like just kind of give that overall reminder about it. All right, so this is my last prediction before we get into hope/unrealistic territory. This isn't really this isn't a prediction that I crafted. This is a prediction I've heard and that has been talked about, but a lot have been speculating about the fact that we could get the original Pokemon games on NSO. So Red, Yellow, Blue. I'm not too familiar with the original ones that released as opposed to Japan and America, but that is something that could definitely happen. I know there were some ties made with a post. You might be familiar with Pyoro, which is a pretty credible leaker. He predicted everything in the last Nintendo Direct, which was pretty crazy when I was watching. But he made a post. Some people are making loose ties between the color scheme and the post and Pokemon being released on NSO. So it could be a cryptic thing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know, because Pyoro didn't really go out and be like, Pokemon, and then make the post. I'll show the post for a few seconds so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You can make your own judgments about, oh, the colors, about the original Pokemon colors have been included. And he posted this a little bit before the Pokemon Presents was announced. So it could just be related to something else. I don't know. But Pokemon on NSO is something that people have been really wanting for a long time, so it's a definite possibility. So now we get into my hope predictions that are probably unrealistic. So Game Freak and I guess Ilka, just Pokemon in general, has obviously been doing more than they should be, like just having a lot on their plate to do, which has obviously affected the quality of Pokemon games, right? We've seen that with Scarlet and Violet. We've seen that with Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl in terms of all the glitches the game launched with and the updates that it needed. There was even, the game was even stuck in like a demo mode or something like that. Legends Arceus, while it was great, had some graphical errors, had some problems with the Switch, and we could chalk that up to the Switch's hardware. We really could. But Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom function just fine on the Switch, and they are open world games that have so many assets. So kind of making the comparison is like, what's going on? Game Freak probably knows this, and as such, I am assuming that they're gonna slow down, so we might not see some stuff here, but let me just talk about what I want to see. So, I would really like a black and white remake. I really hope they don't ruin it. I would like something more akin to the Gen 3 remakes rather than what they gave us with the Gen 4 remakes. I just thought that ORAS did a lot better. They added new content. They gave us graphics that weren't horrible. It was just nice to see. I would even be fine if they gave us Gen 5 remakes that were more similar to the originals, that kind of kept that 2D thing going on without necessarily being 3D. I just wouldn't want like a chibi art style. I know that many Pokemon fans are really hoping for a Black and White 3 or hoping that they remake Black and White 2, but personally, I have this attachment to Black and White 1. So I'm really hoping that those are the games that they remake, either that or maybe they do some sort of package with 1 and 2, which I know is not really likely, but that would make me really, really happy if they did something like that. Alongside that, my other hope/prediction is that they make a new Legends game. I'm a little bit scared for them to make a Legends Gen 5 game just because I don't want them to mess up the lore, and also because if we get a Legends Gen 5 game and we don't see a Gen 5 remake, that might mean, oh, we might not get a Gen 5 remake. I know it's very likely that these games might come at the same time no matter what they are, because that's what we saw with Gen 4, that we got Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and we got Legends Arceus, and they have these connections between the games. So we might see something like that whenever, if ever, this gets announced, but I'm really hoping that at the end of the day that I will get that Gen 5 remake that I want, and I hope that it's good. I love Gen 5, I would love to replay it, and I just hope it doesn't suck. I got one more hope to talk about, and my last hope is to see Johto in some form. I know a Let's Go game is probably not out of the question. I wouldn't hate a Let's Go game. I don't know exactly how I would feel about it, but a Johto remake or something with Johto would be pretty cool to see. If they do go the remake route, I'm really hoping they include Kanto and Johto together, much like they did in HeartGold and SoulSilver, because those are arguably, it's not my favorite Pokemon game, but those are arguably the best Pokemon games according to most Pokemon fans. And I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. They're just not my personal favorite, but they're definitely up there. So I'm just really hoping that if they do bring Johto back in some way, we don't just get, yeah, you're just going to see Johto and not going to see Kanto. I'm hoping they include all the content that's there, because those games are really packed with a lot of content. You have 16 gyms in total. Like, what other Pokemon game does that? So that would be really nice to see. But anyways, that's pretty much everything. Do you have anything you want to see in the Pokemon Presents? Let me know in the comments below.